Hello, welcome to the vlog. We're going to jump right into this. I'm changing up the format a little bit today because of the nature of what I'm going to talk about. Yesterday I made, in my thought of the day, I was talking about how our political conversation has degenerated into just a bunch of hate, screaming at other people. If you believe this, specifically about like the healthcare situation, if you believe this, then you want people to die, you're just trying to kill people, and just all this madness. And how there's really no way to have a good conversation, because that in that setting you can't have a good conversation, you can't really talk about it. I got a couple comments on that video, two specifically. So R. Roberts responded and said, hey, so why do you think that is the case? Why do you think that we've sort of turned all of these debates into this yelling match, and it's turned into this ridiculous, you hate this person, you want these people to die, you're this, and just, it's awful. Why has that happened? And then Alejandro Quesada, he asked me, he said, well, I think he sort of dared me to talk about the transgender ban that was just announced. Transgender people are banned from serving in the United States military. And he basically said, you bet you won't talk about it. Well, I'm going to do both. I'm going to combine the two. And I'm going to try to be very careful about this so that I don't say something that I don't mean to. So the transgender ban. And I'm not going to go into everything about the ban and whether or not you agree with it. I'm just going to explain to you how I would go about thinking about this ban and the difference between that and how it's currently being talked about. So I hear this and I ask myself, I say, okay, so who is this ban coming from? Who told Donald Trump this is something that we need to happen? That's going to be my first question. Not whether or not I agree with it, whether or not it's a good thing. Okay, who told them to do it? And from everything I've seen, it is the highest ranking members of the United States military. The people who are currently tasked with making sure that we're safe, making sure that our country is able to fight wars if it becomes necessary. The people who are in charge of making sure the United States military is in the best shape possible. And from what I've heard, they told Donald Trump and others that that having transgender people in the United States military has not helped us be more prepared, but has actually become a distraction. It has become an issue in the military because they don't know how dealing with that situation, and how do you handle it, right? It's become an issue inside the United States military. And so then I go, okay, well, that's a different thing than Donald Trump campaigning on, I'm going to kick the transgender people out of the military. And then the U.S. generals are like, hey, actually, no, we think that's a bad idea. You shouldn't do that. And he's like, nope, still going to do it. And here's why it's different. Because if Donald Trump, if this is any other situation involving the military, in which the United States general said, Donald Trump, don't do this, and he did it, he would get destroyed for it. And the reverse of that is true. If the general said, hey, we think you should do this, we really think you should do this, and he came out and said, no, he would get destroyed. But because it's this specific topic, this specific issue, people go, holy cow, this is amazing. This guy is the worst. He's the devil. He's this. He's that. As opposed to taking a step back and saying, oh, okay, what are we actually doing here? Is the United States military the place to have this social, I've heard people call it a social experiment, whatever. Is the United States military the place to insist that this happens? And then the other thing I look at, and I go, okay, well, let me look at who Donald Trump is and what he's done in regards to the LGBTQ, I don't know all the rest, I don't want to mess that up, the community prior to this. What has his stance actually been? What has he actually said? Okay, Well, when the whole bathroom controversy came out, people at the bathroom bills and this and that, Donald Trump came out and said, I don't really agree with that. I don't think you should do that. In fact, in my hotels, in my place, use whatever restroom you want to. I don't care. If you're a guy identifying as a woman, you want to go for it, knock yourself out. That was his stance on it. Okay, well, that doesn't seem like someone who just hates transgender people. When it comes to gay marriage, Donald Trump asked about it. And you have to understand, he's running and he's campaigning towards incredibly conservative people who have fought for a long time to make gay marriage illegal. He came out and said, it's the law of the land. We're not going to change that. Huh, okay. Well, that, again, does not strike me as someone who just hates transgender people. And so that is how I go about thinking about this situation. And I go, okay, well, if that's the case, if Donald Trump was told by the people tasked with making sure that our military is in the best shape possible, if he was told by those men and women that we need to make this change and that it will help us be more prepared and better prepared for them to do their job, then who am I to sit there and go, wrong, wrong, wrong. They don't know what they're talking about. If the United States military, and I ask myself this, just sort of a gut check on this, right? And I ask myself, if the United States military came out tomorrow and said, hey, we don't want any more white guys in the military, right? We think it creates a distraction. It is a problem. It's not helping. It is causing an issue for us in making sure that we're prepared to fight war, to fight these battles, to keep this country safe. If they came out and said that, what my reaction would be? And no, I have 2 brothers currently serving in the United States military. If the generals came out and said that, they said, this is what we need to do based on our experience with this situation, based on what we know we need to do to make sure we're prepared. And they came out and said that, I would say, oof, David, Phil, my brothers, you guys are going to have to get a new career, because it's not about you. It's about keeping the country safe. So, sorry. I guess you guys are out. I'm telling you this not to tell you how you should feel about this particular topic. But that's how I would go about it. That's how I would go about thinking through this process. That's how I have gone about thinking through this process. What do you do about this ban? How do you even think about it? That's what I've done. Now, really quickly, why do I think other people don't do this? Why do I think other people just get incredibly angry and hateful and start spewing things and just going to the extremes? And you hate everybody, you are this, you are that. And the reason is because the sort of rational way of going about thinking about these issues doesn't look good on a campaign sign, unfortunately. The way that politics works these days, it works on these extremes. It works on playing to the fears of people. And so you can't say, well, we listen to the generals and we understand what they say. We understand that they're the ones that told Donald Trump that this was the best thing going forward. But still understanding and knowing that we still think that even though the generals have said this is not in the best interest of the country and keeping it safe and being militarily ready, we still think that we need to change that situation. That doesn't look very good. That doesn't sound very good. It's not a good political thing to run on. But screaming, you phobe this or phobe that, you hateful this, you hateful that, okay, well that's a bit more extreme, more likely to get people energized about supporting your cause or energized about hating another cause. Same thing with healthcare. You can't look at it, if your reasonable and rational discussion goes something like this: which of these things has worked in the past? Which of these things will work in the future based on what we have seen? Which of these things make sense? Which of these plans make sense? No, we can't do that. It is simply, you hate people, you're trying to kill millions of people. Why? Because that's a better campaign slogan. It sounds better on the campaign trail. It gets people more fired up and more angry, which is the point. Because that is what we have degenerated to as a society and in our politics and in a lot of things. Just get me mad and I'll vote for you. Just tell me that these other people hate everything about everyone and want the whole world to burn. That's why they do it. It's politics. It's just politics. There's no goal there. The goal is not to come to a rational discussion and talk to people and say, hey, let's try to come together on this. No. The goal now is just to silence opposition. And that's terrible. Okay, that's enough of that for now. If you have any other questions about it, if you want me to go even further into that, this is already a 10.5 minute video. It's ridiculous. I'm not going to go any further into it unless you ask in the comments. Quick review of yesterday. I did all my chin-ups, push-ups, and sit-ups and stuff. Kate did all of her push-ups and most of her chin-ups. Didn't quite get all of them, but she's working on it. She's working on it, and it's great. This morning I did not get up and work out with that tire because, well, all of this working out and craziness has finally caught up with me and I was exhausted and slept in. So my bad on that. But the goal for today is the squat challenge, the 400 squats today. That is my goal. We shall see how that goes, and I will let you know tomorrow how that went. Hopefully tomorrow's video will be shorter. This one is getting really long. But if you care, I'm going to add another 54 seconds to the end of this video and show you that I did all of my 100 chin-ups yesterday. I videoed it, all the different chin-ups that I did. I videoed it and put it into a really fast-forwarded video so that you can see all 100 chin-ups if you care to watch them, and they will play directly after this. Please let me know in the comments below if you actually watched all of them. Here you go.